So kind of sticking to the theme of the last few videos that we've had on the My Design class channel, where we've tried to look at how we can actually change some of the settings in Adobe Photoshop to make the workspaces, workflows, shortcuts, etc. much easier to use. What we're going to do in this video is actually see how we can enable dark mode and light mode in Adobe Photoshop. Great, so I have Photoshop open and hopefully you've also got Photoshop open so you can follow along with this tutorial. What we're going to do is just work out how we can actually customize our Photoshop workspace into both a dark mode and a light mode. So obviously Photoshop, as you can see, I've currently got it open on Mac. It does look slightly different in Windows, but it already has a sort of dark themed mode. It's already dark gray colors, but we can actually also enable darker modes or lighter modes if you prefer working with these kind of workspaces. And these are kind of things that more online browsers, such as YouTube, for example, but also many more apps are trying to introduce so you can get the best possible experience when using the software. So in order to create a darker mode, what I'm going to do is just zoom out once by pressing Command and minus or Control and minus for Windows. So first of all, what we can do is we can actually change this dark gray background behind our canvas. So all we have to do that is right click using our mouse button. And as you can see, we get a whole load of different options. So if obviously we wanted a darker mode, we just press on black. And as you can see, we now have black as the background. Now, obviously this works better if you have a lighter canvas. I've obviously got quite a dark canvas at the moment, but if, for example, you have a bright green canvas, it will stand out much more clearly with black as the background. If I press right again, we can also choose light gray, which would obviously be the light mode comparison. You can also select a custom color just by right clicking and going to select custom color. And as you can see, this brings up the color picker and we can literally press whatever color we want. So for example, a red, press OK. And as you can see, the background now becomes red. So obviously you can customize this background to any color you want, but obviously sticking to that kind of dark themed and light themed modes, what we're going to do is just select black for now. So in order to actually change the work panel itself, what we have to do is go to Photoshop, Preferences, and then go to Interface. And then from here, as you can see, we can select the color theme. So if I press on the black option, this would be your dark mode theme. So as you can see, Photoshop now has changed everything to a very dark mode, which is obviously more ideal if you're in a darker space and it's more soothing to the eyes. And it just highlights all of the tools very clearly, a bit more clearly than this dark gray option. You've also obviously got the light mode version, so that would be this white here. And now as you can see, everything is in a light mode color. Now you can also change some of these other effects, for example, the colors and borders on some of the full screen modes and the standard screen modes and the artboards more specifically. But I'd highly encourage you just to play around with these if you're unhappy with any of them. Now lastly, another good option to color is the transparency option that Photoshop has. So obviously anytime we start with a transparent canvas, it normally comes up with a preview that looks like this. But you can actually change this from light to medium to dark or to any of the following colors if you'd prefer that because you're using a slightly different mode. So for example, we're using a slightly lighter mode, so light would be more applicable. But if you're using a dark mode, you can choose that option too. So if I just set that back to light and then press OK once you've made all of the changes you want. Now, obviously we want to enable full light mode. So all I have to do is right click on this view and select light gray. And now we have a full light mode view panel. So that in essence was how you can actually change your Photoshop workspace to both dark mode, light mode, and also any kind of color mode that you might prefer. Hopefully that will make it a bit easier for you to change your workspace according to the environment in which you are in, because obviously it's much easier to design in a workspace that you can see more clearly. If you're interested in learning how you can actually save PNG files in Adobe Photoshop, then do check out the video in the top right hand corner of the end screen. And otherwise, do remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed the content, and do remember to subscribe to the channel to make sure you never miss a new Photoshop tutorial.